it's been a great feeling for every one of us, especially winning this trophy after the 10th year. Since it's been our first time winning this trophy, the Kaizer Chiefs. So I think it was very important for us to win this trophy for this club, because I think playing for this club we have to always be on top and win cups each and every season. So I think it's been a great feeling for every one of us. Everyone has been positive since from the start until the end. It's been a great journey.
Thank you very much, and no stranger to media, in front of media, Coach Sheppard. Just same question. How did you get here? How did you get to lift it? What is it bringing to the club, and the culture, the philosophy, and all that?
When we started this journey, we had a slogan. Commitment gets you started. Consistency gets you to the end. If you just look at the record, 2 losses, 4 draws, a couple of records broken with goals scored. I think the least goals conceded. So, very proud. The boys, the performance over the season, the focus was on the performance. Every game, the consistency in what we approach the games with, the intensity of every day, the culture on what we installed there, the levels in which the boys were able to push themselves to. I can only give great credit. It starts with the leadership. Ntando, great leader. I think he's been here 5 years, and after 5 years for him to lift the trophy, I think it's testament to his development, testament to all the players' development and how they've come through. And I sit here today as part of the technical team, very, very, very proud of it.
Thank you very much. Members of the media, a quick 1-2 randomly without interrupting you.
Dillon, you seem to be having a fair share of both eras of the drought and maybe also as a champion yourself, lifting trophies. How is this working psychologically? Finally, this is happening in your lifetime as a leader within such an institution.
I've lifted obviously trophies as a player, so I knew that feeling. Starting to my old club Wits and under 17s, won a couple of trophies there. If you remember the 2019-2020 season, DDC, when it was cut short, 28 games with COVID, we were 4 points ahead. We were going to win that, so unfortunately didn't take that title. And then got the opportunity to come to this great institution. Picked up great experience in our first season. You get to Africa Champions League final. Not too many coaches can boast that. And then you take the experiences. I mean, it wasn't an easy 4 years. You take the wins, you take the losses. You learn a lot more from the reflection that you get through the losses. It's all experience that goes into the bank. And now, we've got the opportunity to go back down into this wonderful academy and work with such, these young boys. They just boost your energy every day when they come there, their behaviors, the culture that's been instilled in our academy. As a coach, it just brings that special energy. And I'm just happy that, they said the jersey number 10 is always special. So it looks like the year 10, number 10 has been very special for us, not just for the DDC, but also bringing the Nedbank Cup. So may it continue. We always want to be successful. We always work hard. Every day it's a challenge. Every day we come here, we put in the energy, put in the work to be successful. And like I say, hopefully this is the start of more to come.
The boy next to you has had one of the most beautiful seasons for him personally. I think he's played the most minutes, change of position as well. Normally plays in the CDM, played in up centre back or centre back. For you, when you look at him and how far he's come, what's your report card on him? And do you think he's ready for the bright lights of the rigors of the first team?
I'm just going to go a little bit off of the player. I'm going to go more on the person. I've known Ntando now since I got here 5 years. Spent a lot of time in the first couple of years in the academy, back and forth. Watches the intensity and what he trains at, his attitude, his discipline towards his work, the extra sessions that he puts in. And then, you know, you come and see where he's from and now where he's at. He's got a very, very bright future in the professional game. You talk about the versatility of us using him as a centre back. He was we played with a back three. He was able to step into the midfield, create extra numbers in there. His technical quality with his passing range, he was exceptional. I still remember the second game of the season we played Sheppard. I don't know if you remember that game. We went down to 10 men early I think it was midway through the first half. Ntando came on half time. He played more as a hybrid centre back moving into midfield. We ended up winning 2-1 that game. He scored at the header the first goal, so he kind of ignited the game and helped us win. So these are just characteristics of a young player that's got a very, very bright future in the professional game. And we're looking forward to seeing a lot more from him. Also too, it's pride for us because when a player comes into your system 5 years and you see where he's progressed to, and like I say, you know, he's got all the rights. You know, you can have the menu, but if you don't have the ingredients, you're not going to be cooking much. So, you know, he's got all the ingredients to make it far in the game.
Then we saw the Amajita coach Raymond Ndaka saying that crediting the DDC for a lot for what the contribution to Amajita's was winning the AFCON. Do you agree with that sentiment that the standard has improved in the DDC?
Huge role. I mean, if you go through now the teams this season, I mean, I'll just go. Let's say Richards Bay, Pomelo, Zikali, Ngema. You know, all of them were featured prominently in the DDC season. They're all playing first team. If you look at Stellies with Jurgens, and you look at Tylen Smith has got a look. Abrahams has got a look in the first team. You know, you've got Ndaka, you've got Pili. You know, all these players are playing regularly or on the bench for the first team. So it's played a huge role in regular game time, and also to the competitiveness of the league has really, really got better. So you see these players are now able to make the step, because I thought a couple of years ago that step from DDC to first team was a lot bigger, but I think that gap has definitely gotten smaller. And now you're seeing, you know, all the DDC players that are getting game time in the DDC are able to step up and get game time in the first team, which is really, really positive to see. And then now you see our national teams, both under 17, under 20, we're at World Cup, so development is really, really in a good place.
Ntando, we've seen in the last years Kaizer Chiefs giving an opportunity to a lot of DDC players to play in the first team. I'm sure you'll also be setting your sights on being given an opportunity to play there. We saw Aiden McCarthy get an opportunity last game, and perhaps also play in the Premiership, since we are hearing talks that there is a certain club in the Betway Premiership with IMU.
Obviously, the player always dream big to always play in the big league and the big guys. So I think it's been good for us, seeing players coming through from us, having shared the pitch team, and now they are progressing and doing it in the Premiership. We see the likes of Duduzi, Duba, Sam, Aiden. So I think it's positive. You can only see it's something that is possible to be done. And if given the opportunity, you must just use it and take it from there. It's a stepping stone for your career going forward.
So then you won everything. I think you're one of the most decorated players in youth football. You won the Asian Cup, you won the Disney Shield, you won the league, now the captain of this DDC side. For you, when you look at where you are now and where you come from, what is the most proud moments of your life and your career?
I think more like development is not more about winning, but it's more like improving individual. So I think from where I was and where I am now, I think I've improved a lot, better than before. So I think it's always about improving each and every game, each and every season. So I think compared to my first season and now, it's a big difference. So the winning part comes after. So I think I've improved individually, on and off the pitch, behavior-wise, everything else. So that's why it doesn't become hard to lead such a club, because you improve each and every game, you learn. So I think that's where the results they come up.
Dylan, I mean, you mentioned few teams that never had stress or pressure of playing these boys anyhow. But with the performance of Kaizer Chiefs and the position they are in, be it from point of a mandate, it's very difficult to see these boys shining, only to find them going to shine at other teams later in their future. So what does that say about you guys creating a platform and losing these boys to a point that at some point even affected the DDC performance, where a chunk of boys were taken to the first team, but never been seen?
I think we need to look at the positivity of the players we're producing. Not everyone is going to get promoted to your first team. That's reality. With the likes of Ntando and Duba, if you look at them, they're all 2004s, with Ntando is 2005. So we've already got 4 players that were promoted from our DDC team. So when other players on their pathways are unfortunately not going to go to the first team, they need other places to go to. So they go out and they find their careers. Like you see the likes of Zita, and you like to see Mdansani, who go and find their ways somewhere else, and then they ended up back here. So everyone's got their pathways, everyone's got their ways of finding themselves, and that's the reality of football. You cannot play 11 DDC players in the first team. And of course, as Chiefs, and you know the pressure and where the team's at, you know, those youngsters that are there at the moment are still finding their feet. And there's a lot of pressure at the moment. So, you know, like I say, it's important that we find these players' pathways, and we wish them all the best when they do find their pathways.
Coach, when you open your computer, you write down the list of being a Kaizer Chiefs player, be it as a DDC player or first team player, what are some of those ingredients that are needed to be a full Kaizer Chiefs player?
I think it starts with the off the field stuff. It starts with the discipline, the behavior, the desire, the willingness to want to work, because that doesn't take talent. You know, those things have got to come from inside, the fire. And then obviously the talent then takes over, and then you know, the quality of players. Yes, the technical quality is always got to be there, and that feeds from, you know, our young players coming through, as you can see, you know, from the under 13s, under 14s, and you know, when we have the luxury of having players in your academy for 5-6 years, they then, you know the culture of the club, which then makes it easier for the promotion of players, you know, into your 13 setup, because the environment is set up for players to thrive into. So those are the important steps, and you know, what we've been saying now is that when we bring in players in at 13, 14, and we have them 6-7 years in our setup, you know, their transition into the first team then becomes a lot easier.
The type of orientation that these young people are given, be it for even financial and mental awareness, walk us through the psychological side of having to give orientation to boys coming into the fray.
And I mean, if you just look at our setup with Kaizer Chiefs, if you look at a youngster that's playing for Kaizer Chiefs, social media profile, compared to other players, you can see it's very, very different. Our boys we do have people that come in and educate the boys on how to use the social media platforms, you know, to benefit them, because that's very, very important. Because also too, as we know, you can even see at the DC level, the pressure that already goes. I mean, you see the stadiums when we play, the stadiums already are full. I mean, there's more, what I've witnessed is there's more fans at DDC games than there are at some of our PSL games. So these young players are getting introduced to that very, very early. And then it's from us to guide them and educate them, because it's very, very important that they can easily be, when they get to DDC level, they think they've made it because of all the attention and all the hype. Hype is something that we know it's important that you control, because, you know, sometimes these boys can get ahead of themselves, and they can be, if they're not properly educated, and also too, boys are going to step out of line. It's only normal, but it's for us to be there to help them, to support them, to guide them, because we're always trying to educate them to know that, you know, when they get to first team level, that, you know, the levels up there are huge. So
Other times where you state that education comes first before any other thing to these young boys, so that they can actually graduate and see that as a second opportunity.
We've got 8 boys, well, 7 in matric, in grade 11. So that's a challenge that we've had for the last 6 months. We can't train almost every day. So, and also too, we have to train it for train in the afternoons because we've got half our squad at school. Now we're going into 6 months where they're going to be writing prelims, and so the first thing is that they go away and they're going to study. And they're going to, so if they come in, and we might only have one training a week where they're going to play games. So yes, we might sacrifice the results, but the long-term goal for them is always education first, and the football comes second. But you know, we are an academy, so football is, but we try and find tailored programs for each and every player. Like, you know, Nao's been at the Under-17 World Cup. We've just had 3 players at the Under-20 World Cup, so some of them are in their studies. So, we get their schedules very early, and then obviously we can tailor the training schedules around that to make sure that they maximize both school, and we can also get them on the training pitch.
Last one.
There's a lot of, I think my colleague did ask you, there's a lot of hype around you now at the moment. How are you trying to deal with that? Who's helping you? What do you say? How do you say it? How do you also not respond to certain things on social media? Because of course there's been a lot of approaches for you, but how are you handling that attention that you are now getting?
I think as Coach said, that there's people who help us to manage these things. So in usual when the season is over, they tell us to focus more on the game, not the hype. I think that's what helped us to remain consistent throughout the season. Because sometimes when you start playing, you start getting results, you start getting hype, then you lose focus. So I think there's people who help us with how to control the off the pitch stuff. So I think just to remain level-headed, focus on then the rest is over.
Last one, leader.
Now, as a captain, you're becoming the biggest prospect, be it in social life and otherwise. I just want to find out, how do you actually manage your lead role as a captain? Because sometimes you'll be measured as in when the ships are down, to see how do you actually motivate the team to come back. Do you believe that you are the right place and vocal enough to be a captain than to just have talent?
I think I am, because having spent most time at the club, I've seen better, even better players than me. So I've learned how to lead, especially the team. So it's not more about being vocal, but it's more like leading by example, actions off the pitch and actions in the field, so that the rest can see and okay, this guy is doing this, let's follow. And we hate one another going forward, then it becomes easy for every one of us. So not about being a leader, but every one of us being a leader, then helps us to move forward smoothly.
You sometimes get into the technical team where they ask you questions to say, Captain, we see it this way. What is your opinion?
No, the coaches are the coaches.
On that lighter note, Ntandoyenkosi.